Welcome back to the Little Piece of Heart Kitchen. It is me, Kathleen Hart, and today I'm going to show you how to make an awesome side dish that's really versatile because you can serve it cold, you can serve it hot, or you can serve it at room temperature. And the bonus is we're going to be using my homemade pesto, which we just saw on a previous video. Now you can certainly use jarred pesto, that's totally fine, but if you got the pesto, use homemade because it's so good. So take a look at this sneak peek that I'm going to show you of the prepared spaghetti squash pesto recipe. Low carb, of course. Did you guys like that sneak peek? Looks really good, right? Wait till you taste it. That's why you have to make this. Take a look at the ingredients. There's literally a handful and it's so simple, especially when you already have the pesto, either homemade, already made, or from a jar. Take a look. We've got a spaghetti squash here. I like to use the smaller ones. This is between 1.5 to 2 pounds. Also here, some toasted almonds. They're nice and slivered, nice and golden brown. Here is my pesto. I keep it in the freezer, so there's a little bit here you can see of the oil that's on top. That's fine, that is gonna mix in and make this side dish amazing. Some Parmesan cheese, optional, some red pepper, but you guys know me, gotta do it a little bit of spice. And then we have salt and pepper here. To get started, we gotta cook this baby. So what I'm gonna do is pierce it with a knife. The easiest way to do this carefully is to use a non-serrated knife because it'll just go in and out of the squash really easily. So I'm gonna pierce this about 10 times, pop it in my microwave for about 5 minutes on the first side. I'm gonna put it in like this, and then after 5 minutes, I'm gonna turn it over and do it for about another 4.5 to 5 minutes. I'm just gonna see how if it starts to be really noisy, like sizzling, making popping noises, you can just let it sit in there and turn the microwave off and just let it sit. So once it's done cooking, it's gonna sit in there for about a minute. I'm gonna take it out, put it on the counter for another few minutes, then I'm gonna slice it, and then I'll meet you right back here and show you how we prepare everything else and put it all together for this side dish. So meet me back in a few minutes and I'll show you what to do next. So we're all ready to assemble this super easy but super flavorful side dish. So I have a big bowl here, and what I'm gonna do is take my spaghetti squash. As you can see, I cut it in half after I let it sit out of the microwave for about 5 minutes. And then I raked out the center with a spoon and then threw away all of the seeds and kind of like the gooey strands. We don't want that. This is exactly what we want it to look like. So what I'm gonna do next, while it's still in the little boat of skin, it's super easy. Take a fork and just go right from one side and rake. And as you can see, it just becomes these gorgeous little noodles. And then I like to just loosen it. And by letting it sit, it's almost like letting a steak sit. Because what happens is, spaghetti squash is very watery. So if I were to cut right into it as soon as it came out of the microwave, not only would it burn your fingers to death, but it also is gonna like excrete all this extra liquid and water. So by letting it sit, it kind of soaks it all back up and you get to keep that flavor without it being overly watery. So once you are able to scrape all of that to the center, I'm gonna put it right into my bowl. And like the little stem makes a pretty good handle too. So I'm gonna just take it, get it all out, still nice and hot. This will retain heat for a while. So that's why it's good to let it sit. And that's why it's fun too to use these little things as boats. Whoops. That didn't look good. Okay. To use these as boats and then you can restuff them. So that's another cool thing. I'll have a video for that when the time comes. But for the meantime, I'm just gonna rake out the flesh from the second half and then we'll start going on with putting everything together. All right, so there's kind of big clumps of noodles sometimes, or spaghetti squash strands, AKA noodles. So I'm just breaking them up. And then while this is still hot, I want to add in some of my pesto because I want it to kind of melt and really flavor these noodles. So I'm going to add a little bit and then mix and then see if I need to add more. So I added all of the pesto that I had because it needed it. And if you could just smell, pesto is such a great, I don't even know if you would call it a condiment, but it's just such a great ingredient to use in cooking because it's already flavored with garlic, cheese, herbs, olive oil. It's kind of like, it's already this prepared thing. You can just pop in and bring like this burst of flavor to something like spaghetti squash, which is kind of bland on its own. So I just wanted to show you guys, this is what we're looking at. It's nice and green, which is actually really pretty, and it smells phenomenal. What I'm gonna do next is go in with a little extra parm. Now this is kind of like an optional ingredient because the pesto is gonna have, well, depending on what kind of pesto you use, which by the way, you don't have to use basil pesto. Any kind of pesto will be great with this. You know, whatever you prefer, whatever you've made, like arugula pesto, spinach pesto, try it with this setup because I guarantee you will love it. But anyway, back to the cheese. I'm gonna just sprinkle some on top. Now this is mostly probably for look, but also I love Parmesan cheese. And I feel like that salty bite is just going to flavor the spaghetti squash that much more. And it's gonna kind of melt because the spaghetti squash is still warm at this point. But look how pretty that looks. And then now, here is the optional ingredient, the red pepper flake. I love it, Jay loves it, my family loves it, so I'm gonna add in a good pinch right on top. And that kind of also just kind of awakens your taste buds and gives a little pop of red that you might not be expecting. Lastly, I have my toasted slivered almonds. Or sliced almonds, I'm sorry, toasted sliced almonds. And they are just gonna give this a lovely texture and crunch that you might not even be expecting, but it's really, really, really good. It's a great combination. So guys, look at how gorgeous this is. Take a look. Smells amazing. And like I told you guys, this can be served right now, hot. It can be served at room temperature, or you can chill it in the fridge and bring it to a barbecue, bring it to someone's house for a potluck, and serve it cold also. So it's so versatile. The flavors are just amazing. The pesto is kind of the star here, but if we didn't have the spaghetti squash, we wouldn't be able to carry those flavors. So I'm gonna go in here and get a little bite of everything. And I just wanna show you guys how almost pretty that looks. And, oop, we lost some. But even without pasta noodles or, you know, any kind of starchy veggie even, we have this awesome side dish. You have the crunch. Guys, anybody who thinks that I'm faking when I'm eating my food, you're wrong. This is phenomenal. The pesto is the star, yes. However, crunchy almonds along with the pesto, because pesto has the pine nuts in it, it's like amazing, amazing. You guys gotta go and make this recipe. It's actually already on my blog from last summer. So filming this recipe, you know, this YouTube video is just like perfect because it's already waiting there for you. Click on the link below. I'll put the link to my blog. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this recipe. If there's anything that you are looking to have a low carb alternative, please leave it in the comments below. Give me some love, some thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any more low carb cooking. And in the meantime, I'm literally gonna go eat this bowl. Have fun, guys. See you later.